more thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about perception.
In terms of what?
Perception in just situations in general. Yeah. So for example, like I just mentioned, like the situation about the person being late. You thought, oh, maybe I could have given her the leniency. In my head, my perception was I hate lateness. So in my head, how I look at stuff in this world, yeah, like I remember even speaking about it before it, or not speaking about it, but I remember mentioning it before, yeah. I must have tweeted it or something. That sometimes, yeah, like I feel like because of the way I am, the way I think, I always think one thing I always perceive in that I do that I used to do, sorry, is that people are always on the same sort of timing or able to do the stuff that I do. And sometimes, like, my perception of if someone's not able to do something I can do, I think that's, I don't think of the person. I don't think much of the person, which to me is ignorant. But to a lot of people, that can be wrong. And it's just everything in the world, yeah. When you think about it, everything's about perception. Like we talk about hairstyles, yeah, right? To you, you think waves, dreads, or locks, whatever, and tapers, yeah. That's your perception. Someone's perception that, listen, I want all over, clean. So I wanted to ask you on your perception. I mean, on just your opinion on perception.
Perception. Cool. I feel perception is based on
Experience.
I was going to say experience, but I don't think it's even the best. I think a lot of perception is based on stereotypes, what we've heard. So I say that, for instance, is like, even back in the day, and it's not until I deep this, I was talking to my female friend today over the phone, it's like, bro, do we know how many CRBs were just useless and lies when we were growing up? Like, if we actually, you know how we're growing up, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, back then, if the man them said someone was a J, we would just believe them off word of mouth. But more time, when you dive deeper into it, sometimes they are not lessons, sometimes they are because, you know, they've been
I learned that, how many...
You have to learn that the hard way, innit?
No, not the hard way. I learned it vicariously through others.
Yeah.
As in, like, or sometimes not even through others. Sometimes I just learn it by putting two and two together.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, like one thing I deeped as well is like, man, them lie.
Lie, bro.
I don't think people understand how much man lie.
And that's what
they either don't lie, or they don't tell the whole truth. Yeah, they don't tell the full story, or they just don't tell. They leave out a key part of a story,
bro,
that will just
that actually
shift the whole image of what actually went on.
That helps you actually determine. Yeah. So for instance, right, bro, imagine, yeah, cool. I tell the story because BA will know what I'm talking about. Cool. It don't matter yet. Cool. There's this one girl, right?
Yeah.
I think we spoke about already in the pod, but there's this one girl, right? For instance, in school. Goody two shoes. I met her back in BA, right? No one really knew of her until I met her. I thought she was kind of cute.
Yeah.
So obviously, sixth form, everyone's trying to. I brought around the man, then brought around the girls, especially that we used to chill with. And everyone was like, yeah, no, she's cool, she's cool. So the perception of this girl was, she's a cool person, she was just quiet. How come no one ever knew her? That was the perception I got. But me, naturally being wary of people, what my mom taught me, don't ever take people at face value. I had to go do some digging myself, innit? And the CRB I found, thank God this time was legit. But you know when you get CRB, well, like Lil Durk said, when I fall down to my knees, like, it just hurts you, bro. Like, it hurts because you're like, this, you, cool. To a point where, you know about the famous bust-up between me and my boy.
Yeah, over the girl. Yeah.
Over the girl, innit? It wasn't even a bust-up. I don't know why I did that. So dumb. Anyway, so that's happened, yeah? And luckily, I go tell some people, like, why I'm mad. And obviously the CRB. But obviously, to some people's eyes, they think I'm mad because of that situation. They think I'm lying. So their perception...
Wait, so they think you're lying based off the CRB that you've got that was legit?
Yes. So they think that whole thing happened because I was moving mad that my girl chose my man over me. You know what I'm saying?
See, and that's their perception.
That's their let's talk about perception. But their perception was based on one, because this is another perception. You don't realize what people feel about you until you do something, until you make a mistake or they hear rumors about you. So what I mean by this is, I could be rocking with you, Ben, the whole time, but the 1 million allegation comes out against you that's totally not true. You see me flip and switch because I've always been wanting to get one over you. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, there's man like that on your back. So some of the people I say that not my dogs, but like my people, them.
Yeah.
They were even doing the mad thing or saying, yeah, nah, Steve was jealous, nah, Steve was this. Doing her side. Brandon Mike didn't know about this girl until, I brought the girl to them.
Yeah.
But luckily, some people could vouch for the CRB. And luckily, like I said, people's character will always come out.
Yeah.
Girl got too pompous. You start saying one like here, one, and also people start clocking like, wait, what's she saying? It's not adding up. It's not adding up. So the point they came out to me, they apologized. But like, I don't want your stinking apology, bro. You think by then, like I said, once you've showed your hand, now I know what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want your stinking apology. So that's why I say perception sometimes is based on stereotype, and perception is based on not knowing the full truth. Going back to the original point of the J's, sometimes man will say girls are J because you can have them and they can't. Sometimes man will say this girl's a J because they've been trying the whole life to get her and they can't. Sometimes the man
that's one thing I learned from school. That's one of the main reasons why a man calls girl a J.
Girls, how many portfolios I've missed out on investing in because the architectural analysis was incorrect.
Listen. That's like, thankfully, I didn't like. I wasn't really dealing with girls
like
that because obviously man didn't have it like that, innit?
Yeah.
Back then, so it's like I was just on the sideline, just analysing,
yeah.
And so, like, that's one thing I learned, that, like, I just see it, like, I just see man them like lie, or for example, they will say that our girls are whole, or they'll be like, like, when man say, oh yeah, fuck that bitch, she's ugly anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same way where it's like, oh, she's a hoe anyway, just because she doesn't want to give it to you.
Literally.
But in my head, it's like when I see this on the sideline now, like, for example, stuff like that will make me think, like, obviously I know that there's certain people, there's always them few people, it's very minimal though, that you can vouch for, that when you ask them about a person, that they'll just tell the truth, whether they know them or if they do know them and they know that, oh, okay, this person's done this and this and this, whatever, cool. But yeah, for me, is that going back to the point anyway in terms of perception, like, as you mentioned, in terms of stereotypes, yeah, that's a common one. But for me, it's like, how I see it is that, as I mentioned, like, I don't know. For me, it's like I'm always a pessimist. I always say I'm a pessimist, and the reason why I say that is because one thing I noticed, especially with just people.
You're a pessimist by nature or pessimist by experience? Because maybe you didn't actually go up a pessimist, but you just saw some things and you're like, nah, effort, this is...
Nah, I'll say by experience.
Alright, cool.
Because it's just one of the things, and it just makes things easier. Being a pessimist makes things easier, because when you expect the worst...
much, so you can't be let down.
Because my thing is like, one thing I've noticed, it's just that, as I mentioned before, I've always been taught never to rely on people. And it's like, as you mentioned, I may have had experience whereby I've tried to rely on someone, flopped. Now it's like, I'm thinking, like, this is just, this is why I can't be relying on someone. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the ones when you have them occasions whereby it's like, why did I even bother putting trust into this person? That's why that's why a lot of the times I'd just rather do shit myself, because one thing I hate, like, the reason why I'm a pessimist is because I'd rather not put my emotion into a situation whereby it's going to force me to react a certain way towards someone. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather not think that, okay, this person, do you know what? I believe in this person to do this or do that.
But do you not think that's part of life? Because we're humans. I'm going to let you down. I'll probably let you down already. You probably let me down. Like, it's something that has to happen, but will happen. So you trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
It's kind of not...
Yeah, but like I said, I'm ignorant though. And it's like, unless the person tells me that, do you know what? I can't do it. 'Cause you know one thing I prefer. I'd rather you be honest and say you can't do it. That's how I see it. That's how I see it.
But we weren't taught that. Remember?
Say that we can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were told like never say no, like you can't do something, like always find a way to make it make sense.
Yeah, yeah, but at the same time, the reason why I slightly disagree with that is because why would you want to be doing something, or why would you do something that you can't do, that you know you're not capable of doing? Obviously, I'm not. It's not a great mindset to have, but at the same time, you've got to think of it, and you got to weigh up. You got to weigh up the risk, the pros and cons. I don't know.
Risk reward.
Yeah, or like you got to look, and you have to look at yourself in the mirror and basically think, do you know what? Do I think I'm capable of doing this thing, even if it seems like a task or like it's something that's hard? Do I feel like I'm able to do it at least? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And am I hindering someone else that can actually do it from getting this?
Yeah, but that's why, like, in my head is like, how I am is the way I perceive people, especially people in our generation, bro. I'd be so real. The way I look at people, I'm like, it sounds so bad, but I just look at people from the worst perspective. I'll be so real. It sounds so bad, but that's why I say I'm a pessimist, because like I just look at people and I'm like, the things that I see them complain about and seriously complain about, as in they're seriously complaining about, I just look at them and I think like you can't like are you really you really like this?
I'm kind of the opposite. I like to see the good in people, because of my upbringing, because of who I am, knowing that I'm a mess up myself, but I've been given so many chances, and I just believe that if we all think like, obviously there's some times where you go use common sense and realize this is just someone's habits or characteristic. But I always believe maybe why the world is now, because we don't give enough second chances. You know, like he said, Lobo said something about looking in the mirror, and the thing is,
but I don't. But go come in with it. I was gonna say something.
I sometimes I see myself in other people to a point where I'm like, fam, if this was me in this position, would I want to be just completely just dismissed, or would I want to like just be heard? Because a lot of people just want to be heard. And talk about perception is, without going into too much of a segue, say quickly, I think that's what led me closer to Christ actually, because I think, you know, going through BA sixth form itself is the land of rumors. It's the land of people just chatting rubbish about you. It's the land of, oh, if I don't know something about someone, I'm gonna make something up, you know, just to spite them. And I've seen that so much in me where people have a perception of me, to a point where I started playing into that perception, thinking that, oh, I will get one over them, when in reality I was just playing into the stereotype, because back then I had no emotional maturity to realise that, boy, you don't care what.
Because I was literally gonna say them times I didn't really take notice of people like that.
But that's me. My emotional, you're emotional. I'll say you were mature from time, but for me, my emotional maturity was in the gutter. So I feel like once I realised that perception, it didn't matter what others thought of me, as long as, because bro, it's you know, it's tiring trying to play a role. Not even in perception in a bad way. Sometimes perception where people hold you to a standard where sometimes you feel like it's unfair, like you can't make a mistake. And I've had that being a pastor kid where it's like people expect me to be top tier at all times. I'm like, bro, I'm still human.
But do you know what annoys me though? And when people do that, this is my perception of things. Yeah. You can't perceive someone to be, or you can, because everyone has their own perception, but you can't perceive someone, like, you can't expect someone to be this top like standard. Sometimes if you're not even doing that yourself.
But that's life. Why? Because they want the reasons to criticize you. Because once people hold you to a standard they can't hold, and they see you fall.
And by the way, I'm obviously different situations is like, for example, if we're talking like sport, obviously, like, cool, it makes sense that certain men are scouts
100%.
and they may have not played football at a top level, but they understand the game, this, that, and the other. But if we're talking just life, sometimes it's like, for example, like, I will never, one thing about me, as I just mentioned, I'm a pessimist, cool, whatever, cool. I will never hold someone accountable to a standard that I don't think I can't reach. So as I mentioned before, one thing I don't like it when I feel like people make it look like they can do something, but they ended up, or I don't like it when people can't can't do something that I can do. Because in my head, as you mentioned, in my head, I feel like if I can do it, then surely you can find a way to do it.
But that's wrong because people's skill sets are different, bro.
No, but for my thing is like I only think that about something that doesn't require a skill set, or it can just require common sense.
Sometimes you see, even in the common sense aspects, yeah, I just realized a lot of people.
And one thing you mentioned about looking in the mirror, yeah, one thing I don't like in our generation is that people will look in the mirror and still lie to themselves.
Oh, for sure.
That's one thing I cannot
For sure,
stand.
bro. This generation runs away from accountability.
Bro, like one thing I noticed, yeah, is that one thing that I don't like is that like people will look in the mirror and lie to themselves, but also they will put this own perception that they're this person. Remember, you know you're not that person. Like, don't do that to yourself.
Not that guy, pal.
Like, no, guy. Like, it's honestly because at the end of the day, you'll get found out.
Yeah, man.
And I think that's one thing that used to happen. That it happens now, but you can get away with it a lot more. Whereby you can put the perception out that you're this person, whereby you're not really that person. And it's like in my head, I'm just like sometimes I think to myself, because I've seen
welcome to university.
I've seen guys get found out, yeah, and I'm like why do that to yourself?
It's university. It's the what? Do you know what it is? It's insecurity and the pride to want to change that perception of you because you yourself are not satisfied with who you are. That's why there's so many fake bad boys in uni, and then when they come back to yard, they're pipsqueak. That's why uni, there's so many guys that are doing up this whole man's a gal machine. They go to ends, they're not allowed out of the house. Like, but I've seen too many men like that. And like you said, the world is so small. We will find out. And I've seen man get found out for that behavior. And they're like, but bro, when I went to your ends, I know they said answer for yourself. They're stuttering. Main library, like you're getting dressed down, like you're getting like interviewed, like bro, you'll say you're this. I went to your ends, I know they're saying you're unique, like what's going on? So, and that could have been so easily avoided if you're just staying true to yourself. But again, like I said, it's the insecurity in people that want their perception changed, and I don't know why, because I guess the perception don't really matter. And yeah, it's crazy. Just before we finish.